So we wanted to get into. We know you have the social channels and the website. What has been working for you through social media as far as marketing your restaurant?
Facebook. Facebook helps a lot.
Okay.
You want to basically target a lot of groups and show them, basically if they want your material. Now, there are a lot of groups on Facebook where they specifically say, we don't want you to post this, we don't want you to post that, we don't want it where you're using it for advertisement because advertisement costs money. So basically what we do is we look for groups who want to see things about food, and they want to see things about our restaurant, and they're saying, post. So then we could post where people, there's no point in posting in front of people who don't want to see your material. So like the restaurant support group that has 20,000 plus people, we're able to post something on there and, have such a big audience who their whole function in joining that group is to support you as a local restaurant in their community. So the Facebook has helped a lot. Instagram more so when people come out of town. They like to follow us on Instagram, and unfortunately, because they're from out of town, it's hard for them to come back. But they usually come every year. Like for the Poppy Festival, we'll get the same string of guests who came the previous year, or they're going to Mammoth. They tell us, oh, we'll see you again at this time next year, and we'll tell all of our friends. So hopefully this year, the same repeat guests from out of town with a bunch of friends, hopefully.
All right, how am I? BEM, Brands Experts, Marketing Experts doing? We have an incredible expert here that's been on Brands Experts podcast before, so you guys know him. His name is Aaron Evans, owner, CEO of Kyoko's Kitchen. So we'll have him introduce himself for anybody that hasn't seen that episode, introduce himself and exactly what his brand does.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so basically, just to follow up on what Elite said, my name is Aaron Evans, owner-operator of Kyoko's Kitchen, named after my grandma. We specialize in Japanese Hawaiian food with a retro video game twist, where we also have board games, arcades. Basically, it's an interactive experience from your childhood with really, really good food that grandma was cooking in the back. That's the experience we try to simulate. Everyone growing up we would like to think, had a grandma who cooked very well, and nostalgic memories about that. And we basically just tie in our video games to kind of enhance the experience.
For sure. So, in this episode of Brands Marketing Community, we talk about how tech-focused brands are using marketing to build strong communities with inside of their brands, right? So, when we talk about marketing, right, with a restaurant, right, first off, what marketing channels have you guys been using as far as social media?
Well, social media, so we do Instagram and Facebook, and we have a pretty solid following on both platforms, more on Facebook, and that's because Facebook has a restaurant support group that was made during the time of COVID to kind of help local restaurants in the community that were really struggling. And it's helped us greatly. We opened right after COVID. I know COVID is still happening, but kind of slightly after the lockdowns got lifted. And we market through those channels with promotions. Like today, we're going to do. It should be not so busy today because Christmas is coming up in a few days and it's raining outside. So my wife would want to do something like a rainy day ramen special where you get ramen and maybe a free scone, or just something to kind of say, oh, you come in, whether you get a 10% discount for coming in when it's slow, or you get like a free dessert such as a scone that a lot of guests like. Something to kind of stimulate people coming in where, hey, they're going to get a little bit more bang for their buck.
For sure.
Especially this time of the year.
That's right. Okay. Now, with using social media, we also know you guys have a website too. If we can get the names of the social media and the website too.
Yeah, so on social media, I believe it's my wife who usually is in charge of it, but I believe it's for Instagram and Facebook, I believe it's kyokos.kitchen. And for the website, it's kyokoskitchenlancaster.com. And we have two accounts on Facebook. One's personal, one's business, and they're a little bit kind of intertwined, and we're still kind of figuring out the kinks on that. But we have a strong following on our business page. Our page is kind of unique because most businesses don't have a strong following because it's just a business, and they don't really do much other than just discounts. Ours is a little bit more personal, so it has all the aspects of a business, but we have pictures of me and my wife and our kids and, kind of the day-to-day stuff that happens in Kyoko's Kitchen. So it's a little bit more personal, and we do more personal things, like when guests come in, they come in long enough, they kind of become part of the place. So we're always coming up with new menu items, and a guest who comes in a lot, if they order a particular item, we name the item after them. Yeah. So they're like one of our oldest guests, Marty, and he was visiting us for the longest time. He really likes locomoco and he really likes curry, and he wanted to kind of make his own plate where it's a locomoco with Japanese curry instead of the traditional brown gravy, and we call it a Marty Loco. It's not on our main menu, but if you follow us on Facebook and Instagram,
Okay.
it's on there.
Okay.
So a lot of secret menu items on those platforms. But we try to make it fun where we kind of want to let you know when you come into our store. If you come in once, you've made something, you made an impact.
Right.
If you come in a lot, you make a really big impact on us, and we kind of want to do something for you. Name a menu item after you or something.
Sure.
Yeah, something.
Unique.
Yeah, something.
That you guys do that.
Because it matters. We're big chains like McDonald's and so forth. You're just a number. You're just a number.
Yeah.
Here, like we always remember you. We're like, anything we could do. We've had times where, like guests who come in every other day, every so often they're a little tight, and we're always happy to help.
Right.
We're always happy to be like, hey, we got you this time. You come all the time. So
that's awesome, man. Most places don't do things like that. So we wanted to get into. We know you have the social channels and the website. What has been working for you through social media as far as marketing your restaurant?
Facebook. Facebook helps a lot.
Okay.
You want to basically target a lot of groups and show them, basically if they want your material. Now, there are a lot of groups on Facebook where they specifically say, we don't want you to post this, we don't want you to post that, we don't want it where you're using it for advertisement because advertisement costs money. So basically what we do is we look for groups who want to see things about food, and they want to see things about our restaurant, and they're saying, post. Okay. So then we could post where people, there's no point in posting in front of people who don't want to see your material.
Right.
So like the restaurant support group that has 20,000 plus people, we're able to post something on there and, have such a big audience who their whole function in joining that group is to support you as a local restaurant in their community. So the Facebook has helped a lot. Instagram more so when people come out of town. They like to follow us on Instagram, and unfortunately, because they're from out of town, it's hard for them to come back. But they usually come every year, like for the Poppy Festival, we'll get the same string of guests who came the previous year, or they're going to Mammoth. They tell us, oh, we'll see you again at this time next year, and we'll tell all of our friends. So hopefully this year, the same repeat guests from out of town with a bunch of friends, hopefully.
For sure. Now, we see you done some unique things with your brand as far as the Instagram works, as far as like you did a Pokemon drawing contest, and you also do a unique thing through social media where you're kind of posting how people are playing you in Super Smash Brothers, and how like there's unique things tied to that with the brand with food. So if you can kind of talk about that, the idea behind putting that on Instagram, how that's been working for you.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So my wife came up with the idea. She said, "You're really, really good at Smash Brothers. Why don't you like kind of do something like a challenge where they come in, and if they beat you, they get a free menu item. But if they lose, they gotta like basically tell their inner circle and basically about you, whether it's good or bad. And basically we say, hey, if it was a terrible experience, if it was a 1-star experience, tell them. But if it was a really good experience, tell them. Basically leave it on. It kind of stimulates them to tell their inner circle, their group of friends, about their experience here. And fortunately, I haven't lost yet, and we'd kind of like to up the ante, so to speak. I'd like to say, well, if you beat me, you could have any video game in the store, and maybe that would stimulate people coming in to at least try the food. And we're very confident once they try the food, they'll love it.
For sure. So that is great that you're kind of putting a video game interaction experience. Like there's video games all over the store, but an actual position where people can see how good they are, or actually just have fun after work or something like that. And then there's incentive like, hey, you get some food and something like that. So cool.
Free. So basically, they come in and they beat me at Smash Brothers, or I did it on Street Fighter 2. So if you play Street Fighter 2 Turbo, you can do the same challenge. You get a free entree. So if you beat me, but we wanted to even take it further and say, hey, if you see a video game like the last on this Tuesday, we had a guest from out of town, and he really liked Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So he said he wanted to buy it, and I said, well, I can't sell it to you. I don't want to sell it to you, but I tell you what, if you beat me at Smash Brothers, that's your prize. So we won't give you an entree, we'll give you the game. And so we played, and it was a good game. It was a good match, but he didn't beat me. Thank God he didn't beat me. I didn't want to part with the game.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah, so we try to make it fun. If there's something in here that they really like, that's reasonable. Like if they really like one of the old TVs, or they really like the Super Nintendo, or they really like the Super Nintendo box, or they really like Zelda, or they really like something in here, I basically say, hey, to make it fun, to make it a good experience, if you beat me at the game, you can have it. And we've had maybe about 10 challengers, but we'd love to get a lot more,
For sure.
and that stimulate more foot traffic, and that's the idea behind it.
So do you feel like so far that has brought in new traffic,
It
people
has.
that you met, things like that?
It has. And a lot of people don't play because I played a lot before. At the location, I would play with a lot of guests.
Yeah.
And I think around the community, it's funny because one guy came in and he said, I'll beat you at Street Fighter, and I'll beat you at Smash Brothers, and I have a bunch of people who will beat you. He actually called all of his friends, and his friend said, you mean the owner of Kyoko's Kitchen? And he's like, no, I'm not going to play him at that. So yeah, so a lot of people, they don't want to, they don't want to, they don't come out very aggressive, like, well, we're gonna smash you. They're more conservative, more respectful. So.
Right. Okay. For sure. Now, when it comes to the actual food of the restaurant, how has social media worked as far as posting the food items? Is it, do you guys mainly focus on new food items? Do you guys kind of focus on the customer's buying experience? Like, what is the strategy been behind that?
Well, most of the time, for a long time, we were doing new menu items, and we were just. The problem is we were posting them, and it takes time for something to click. Unfortunately, you can't just post unless you're like have this kind of superstardom where when you post something, everybody's looking at it and they want to try it.
Right.
For most places, you post something, even if you're really, really good, and you're recognized as being really, really good, restaurants are on the priority list for everyday people, but of course, life there's a lot more important things than going out to eat, right?
Absolutely.
So if you post something and they like it, maybe they don't have the time for a week, or maybe they don't have the time for 2 weeks. Eventually, they come out, but we were coming up with so many new menu items, we had so many ideas, we were just posting,
right?
And sometimes we got a lot of guests, buying those items, and during the holidays, like when we would do something for, what do we do for Thanksgiving, sweetheart? She's like the mastermind behind baking.
Okay.
Roast beef.
Okay.
So we kind of had like a thing where my daughter was reading the Grinch, and she said, hey, I want to eat that, and I said, well, it doesn't really exist, it's a fairy tale. And she said, well, Kyoko's Kitchen was an imagination thing too, so you mean, why can't you make it? So I was like, yeah, I guess I'll try. So we were doing the roast beef. We did basically it was like a ham and stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, and sticky rice.
Wow.
And so we had that, but we should probably start slowing down items and just really pushing them, because sometimes too much new is too much for people to keep up with.
That's true.
If you could have like the best things ever coming out, rolling out, but it takes time to ferment in their mind,
right?
And it takes time for them to get time to try it.
Right. So more of like a concentration
we're
on an item, and kind of more so focus on marketing that.
Yeah, like the scones. Like Abby makes a lot of scones, but everyone likes the lemon blueberry.
Yeah.
But she gets bored of making them, and I tell her, well, that's kind of the situation.
Repetition.
Yeah, we're in the situation. That's why I love them, because you make them all the time.
Right.
But she's made like chocolate peppermint scones for a private party.
Okay.
She made gingerbread scones. She's all like basically any kind of scone you could think of she can make. But everyone seems to like the lemon blueberry.
Okay.
So coming this next year, using everything we learned, what we really want to do is when we have a new menu item, we want to focus it for at least 6 weeks, and we want to start marketing 2 weeks prior.
Oh, that's good.
So that's what we want to start doing, because this first year was more of a learning curve. We were throwing new menu items out there, but the timing wasn't exactly right.
Right.
Because we were just so busy doing a million other things. So now that we kind of got everything else down, we think the blueprint for success is to, when we have a new menu item, market it on all of our platforms, make it an incentive for them to get it, maybe like a 20% off for this next 6 weeks. Or if you buy like an entree, you get it for free. You know, like something like our katsu curry, where the price is right for it to basically say, okay, if we sell this, then we can give this away.
Right.
And so they can try it. We used to give scones out for free, like when we first opened.
Yeah.
And that's how everybody started knowing about the scones.
Right.
But a lot of people didn't buy them because we were giving them away. So they thought they were saying, oh, it's free.
But I want to hit on something with that free piece of it. Did you build any relationships from doing that?
Oh, of course.
And then people started becoming customers, this and that. Because
yeah.
really, to be honest, that was the first thing that you provided for me. And that law of reciprocity, that is what led me to purchase the, I believe it was like chicken and steak meal.
Yeah, you did.
So I got that. But I always come back for those. So that one piece of reciprocity was what tied me to the brand as far as the food part of the brand. Because not too familiar with scones. I might have had one before, might not. I don't really know for sure. But when I tried, when you said you're going to give me one, and I tried it, from there I came back at least 5 times. Yeah, fell in love with it. Just from that. So that could be something like, for example, you can say, hey, do different things. Like for the first hour, we're doing for up to the first hour, we're doing 5 free scones.
That's a good wait, that? And then I was thinking about moving forward the next year, if you order a katsu curry, you get a free scone.
There we go.
And we're not even going to raise the price on the curry. It's just the curry is it's expensive enough where where we make enough profit where we could give a little bit. Like, we'll give away the scone because it's helping the curry sell.
That's true.
And so they can still stick with they get the free scone and the curry.
Yeah, the curry in with it. So if we're leaving everybody with a piece of advice, because of course, have you hit 1 year yet?
Past a year.
Past a year? Yeah. Okay. So for a restaurant that wants to work towards that year, a restaurant is not an easy business. Sometimes the margins are tight. Sometimes long hours, whatever is going on. What words of advice would you give them as far as marketing if they know they have a good product?
Marketing, I would say basically you want to try to follow a corporate blueprint. It seems to work in terms of how they market, in terms of getting like a menu item in the conscience of whatever community they're in. And how they do it is they market 2 weeks prior to when the promotion date is, and they run the promotion for 6 weeks. So basically there's about 8 weeks for it to be in the conscience of everybody. And so once it's in the conscience of everybody, it's just a matter of time before the guest walks through your door to get it. And while that's running, you want to start on your next one, on your downtime. So if it's a really tight operation like this one where it's just like a husband-wife team, you constantly got to be doing something, but at the same time, you want to pace yourself because it's very, very easy to burn out. There have been times where it's just, from 94-hour work weeks where it's just me and my wife, where we kind of look at each other every 6 weeks and we say, we need a day or we need 2 days to just kind of reset and recoup.
Okay.
So
the main piece was like pace yourself.
Pace yourself. And when you run a promotion, make sure you run it a few weeks ahead of time. And make sure you let it run for a decent amount of time, Sure. So 8 weeks is kind of like the magic number for it to sell a lot. If you don't run it for 8 weeks, it's not going to sell too much, or it'll sell with your regulars, and it won't sell with the general audience. And basically, your regulars will just want it, which is good. But you're kind of missing a big market,
Sure.
So I would say 8 weeks, run a promotion for 8 weeks. Make sure you post it on all your platforms. And make sure you pace yourself, and make sure you're starting your next promotion, the blueprints for it, while that promotion is being run. That way, when that ends, you run the new one right away, and you're not kind of scrambling. Because remember, you have to run the store for 13 hours a day. So sometimes you don't have the energy or the strength to kind of be like, now if it's all done, basically don't procrastinate. If you have a spare second, work on whatever you need to get done. That way. Everything is constantly rolling, and you're not kind of hitting a wall saying, I'm too tired to do this, or I didn't have the time to do that, and you can't market anything. And basically, you got a running restaurant, you got good food, but there's not that new aspect that draws a new crowd in.
That's true. So hey, he laid it out there. Been running a restaurant. They're coming up on a 2-year anniversary.
Yeah, coming up in 2 years. Yeah.
Like I say, flies by. Stay dedicated in what you're doing. It's a beautiful restaurant in Lancaster, California, and we want to leave with 2 things. Since this is Brands Marketing Community, we want to leave with the social handles one more time, and also the address location.
Of course, yeah. So Address location is going to be 1149 West Avenue I, Lancaster, California, 93534. Our handles on Instagram and Facebook are going to be kyokos.kitchen. On our website, it's going to be kyokoskitchenlancaster.com. And I believe there's one more thing you said. Or was that everything?
Just the handles and the address.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yes, that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, man. Like, thank you again. And like I said, keep winning with your restaurant. Keep doing the marketing. And I got to enjoy some of this incredible food that I just picked up. So, yeah, keep doing it. Happy holidays, everybody. Go into 2024 with your goals in mind. And, keep doing incredible things. All right, signing out.
Happy holidays.
All right. Cool, Aaron.